tutorial, I'm going to show you how to correctly paint a statue. I got this from a lady that was moving out of state, so she couldn't take everything with her, so she gave me this statue along with some other things that I've been painting throughout the few weeks that I haven't been around on YouTube. Basically, YouTube hasn't gone anywhere, so I'm more doing work for myself opposed to doing work for people that are watching, like yourself, if you're watching, because normally people don't watch anymore or don't comment, which is fine. Like, for a few people that would like help, this will be the easiest way for me to teach you instead of like explaining certain things in every little video. So what I got here, see these drips? These drips are the lady that originally had this painted these the statue with, I believe, some kind of spray paint, but really by the tell of the drips, by the way it's dripping, it could be like regular craft paints like I have. She claimed to do this sorts of arts all the time, but she didn't take the time to do the work correctly. So what I'm going to do here is paint over everything, and so bear with me here. I'm not sure how long these videos are going to be or whatnot. Hopefully there's no background noise, but I'm going to quickly go over this. And what I got for you over here, you can see in the background here, there's these different paintbrushes. See, if you use the right paintbrush for certain materials, say if you're painting something that has like a texture on it, you go with more of a brush that has a widening spread of coverage to cover than what you would have for these kind of brushes, which I'd use these kind of brushes for wood, maybe staining or varnish, or just small wooden projects. I wouldn't use them for anything else. Just like this, I would use these for small wood projects, maybe a poster or project, something of that nature. Then you got these brushes that are like for fine detail brushes for in between these crevices. See, if I wanted to, for example, I'm going to paint this in here. Hopefully you can see it. This is for like small detail in between areas so that you don't go over top of anything else. Put a little bit more paint on that brush there. See, what people tend to do a lot of times is they put too much paint on their brush and it causes everything to run, and they do too many coats in between each layer when you're supposed to give at least a good couple hours for your work to dry before you start any new coats. Because after you paint that first coat or the second coat on, you gotta look over and see if there's any runs or lines in the paint. And some people, they just carelessly don't do that because they're in a rush. It's like, there's an old saying, but I'm not sure what it is because I'm not good with remembering them kind of things, but something about patience and a steady work, or a steady pace, I don't know, to work at. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a spot here that's broken out. I'll fix this later on in a different video. For now, I'm going to do these videos in sections, kind of like a show, so you can see exactly what I'm doing while I'm doing it and describe it to the best of my ability. So hopefully if I get enough people maybe to watch or to make it worth my time of continuing, I will do more of these on all kinds of different styles of art that I do. See, I'm using a big brush here, but if I wanted to, if I was painting this part first, I could always, if I was going on to the second part here, I could always go for a smaller brush. Like, there's a fine detail thinner brush to get into the area. Well, it's not a fine detail, but it's a thin brush compared to the one I'm using now. Or I could even go finer and go with a thin tip to get like the eyes or the nose or the mouth, which you'll see later in one of these other videos. But here I'm just going to quickly go over this. spreading the paint on nice and evenly. Get it spread out pretty nice. I'm going to go over the same areas a few times, just like that. Give it, so that whenever I go back for my second layer of paint, I'll be able to see the areas better, and then whenever I go to cover them, it won't be blotchy, or you won't see a spot, if I could use a better term. Yeah, basically you just don't, if you want this to be as perfect as you can, while noting that this is a pretty damaged item, but to make it as perfect as I can, I'll make sure that if I want the paint even, I'll to do each coat with care and take my time and go back over other portions and look back and see if I have something I could fix. For example of what I mean by the coats, this is a glitter teddy bear. It's made out of silver. I painted this about a week or so ago. I had to do at least 15 different layers of coats of glitter on this. There's two different colors of glitter. You can't see it now. Maybe in one of my brighter videos, because I'm doing this video at night, so I'm just having to work with the lighting I have now. But there's two different kinds of blue glitters I used, and when I spread it, I had to spread it so that the goop that comes along with it is just nice and evenly, even though that the glitter itself, when you first go to spread it, will not spread like normal paint. You have to work with it while it dries, spread it out, and work with it while it's drying, because that's the best way to get glitter to spread the way you want. Another example would be this little piece here that I glittered up. It's real silver that I painted into gold to make it look gold. It's an eagle with a claw. I just thought that was neat and show you guys. Well, continuing on with this, you can see, let me back this up. You can see in the face here that whoever painted this, the lady whoever painted this, let's see if I can do this without touching anything, she wasn't very, how do I put this in words, accurate with where she was putting her paint, because her paint is just dripping all over this face. See, this is all supposed to be gold, and that's part of the hair. For some reason she thought maybe she would blend it in, but it doesn't work well. It doesn't matter now if I get anything on it, because I'm going to go over it anyway. It'll be the last thing that I go over. And what I'm going to go over it with is this metallic paint. It's about 4 or 5 layers of this, and this will be complete. One thing to always remember is to check over everything. I know I probably said this already, but really you tend to forget sometimes when you're doing portions of your art, and if you have like multiple art lined up to do or in mind to finish, sometimes you tend to forget things or don't see it, because sometimes looking at something for so long could make your eyes kind of blur and everything kind of look like kind of looks the same. It's kind of like looking at a fence, like a wired fence. It doesn't matter with the face here. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, that when this is all finished, when you go to put varnish on, you will only want to put enough varnish on your brush to cover a whole area like this face. And maybe only do that twice. You don't need a whole crap load of varnish. I know you want it to look shiny as you possibly can, but oops, I did a little too much of that face. Oh well. See, that doesn't matter. You only need enough to put on your brush, like I said, and because if you put too much varnish on at a time before each coat could dry, you might end up with like this teddy bear did. I'm not sure, you can't really see it on here, but you can see little white spaces in between his glasses and the rest of his body. Oh well. I mean, it takes a little bit of practice. One thing about painting something like this is, like, if you're just like a sketch artist and you're not normally doing this kind of art, doing this will help kind of like build your line strength of like going in tight spaces and areas, and especially if you're doing a lot of work and you want it to be perfect the first time. Like if you have your colors set up that you would like to blend together, then this would be perfect practice to challenge yourself with different colors to make it work for your artwork, and that would help for your drawing skills as well. Because blending paint is basically the same thing as doing it for your drawing skills, for sketching. Hopefully my voice isn't too scratchy. I have a sore throat. And I hear people outside. Creepy.